Pastor Randy here. So I'm looking a hot mess because we're gonna do this a few days, and but I'm gonna show you. We made some. I'm making some homemade chicken noodle broth. And actually I'm making homemade chicken noodle soup, but this is fresh, and I want to show you guys the process. So this is going to take a few days because it takes like 4 days for to fully get the chicken. But here's step one. I took a chicken. This is from the farm. We butchered it the other day, Max and I will cook that up. I'm actually adding a second one to this because I don't feel like I have enough bones. But here is the goods. So, what's in here is all the leftover vegetables from, look, here's chicken bone. Here's part of it. Here's the other part. That's how you get your bone broth is, it's fogging up the camera. So, you take all your scraps. This here is my fennel that I love. It's the stem part of it. So take some of your scraps. Look, even some of my, see that? The carrot peels. And you actually can put them in the freezer. This is the outside of the cabbage. Whatever you have. Keep all your scraps. And I put them in the freezer in a bag. And that's my scrap bag. And when it's time to make broth, I stick it in here. I took the chicken off of the bone because it does get brown when you put it in here. It just gets overly cooked. So this time I'm actually putting in the freezer for 3 days. We did eat some, and then it's going to go in the freezer. I didn't think we had enough chicken, so I'm actually making another chicken. And I'm going to add the bones in there. So then we can have more chicken, because I don't think it's going to be too much of a bony flavor. So I wanted a little bit more bones. So once it's done, I will add chicken to it. We'll drain it. We'll go through the whole process. But this step one is to cook the chicken. Then you eat some of the chicken, obviously, because you don't just eat some of the chicken. You don't need all the meat. And then you're going to put the rest of the meat in the freezer because you don't want it in the pot. Put the bones in there because it's bone broth. And that's where you get a lot of your minerals. It's so healthy for you. It's so good for you. And it actually hydrates you better. That's a whole nother topic because just the way our water is, it's super duper good to have that bone broth. So we're going to actually, this is homemade bone broth. So you put all your leftover scraps in there of whatever you've done. Onion peels. Actually, I don't have onion peels in there. I'm going to have to add some in. But onion peels are really good. And then we're going to go through the process. So this video is going to be all clipped together. We're going to pull out some video skills and see how this goes. So let's have some fun learning how to piece together videos and show you guys the process. So tomorrow we'll check in and see what it looks like. We start every day. You actually put the temperature. We are on about 200. And we're going to let it cook literally like 3 days. So homesteading kind of keeps you, it teaches you patience and how to appreciate stuff. But it is so good when it's done. It's like the best. And it's actually called liquid gold too, the same as ghee. I don't know why they call both of them liquid gold, but wait until you taste it. It's delicious. So we'll check in tomorrow. Day 2 of our broth. Let's check and see what it looks like. Here we are. See, those bones are all crushed up. I actually added another chicken breast yesterday, or bones, and look, it's already crunched up some. That's what you want. So all your nutrition comes from the bones in the bone broth. So you want them all crunched up. This here, I don't know why the water's cooking up more than it usually is. I put an onion in there. This is great because you can add all your scraps. Like, you could do vegetable broth this way also without bones, but if you want chicken turkey, beef broth, this is how you do it. And you do add the vegetables. Look, that's even part of the cabbage that normally would get thrown out, but this is so nutritious. I'm going to add some water to this, which I usually don't have to, but we are going to. Just keep everything covered. You get more hydration. You get hydrated. I'm going to grab a little bit more water. But you do get hydrated from... I know, it looks so gross. Wait till we drain it, though. It's so pure. This will turn into, like, a nice gold color. But you do get more hydration just from bone broth than our water lots of times, because our water is just so... We don't even want to talk about that. The more I read about it and study it and research it, the more I find out about it. But this... And we need water. That's the sad part. But you do get more hydration out of the bone broth than a lot of the water because it's so contaminated. So we're going to cover this back up. I'm going to leave 2 days because I threw that other one in there late. But when we do this, you just leave it. Just leave it go. I leave the roaster on for the whole entire time. I just check it a couple times a day. Throw anything I'm cooking during the time I throw in there. This is a great way because when you're homesteading, you don't want to waste anything. So this is a great way to learn how not to waste stuff. Especially since we're using like our scraps from the bones from the chicken, but we're also using the scraps from the vegetables. You can add a couple bouillons in here if you want chicken bouillon. Sometimes people do that. Add whatever spices you want. It does really cook in the flavor. Rosemary is really good to add in there. Not a lot because rosemary is strong. I added some of that. My favorite fennel in there. There's some oregano in there. Whatever you want in there, you just add in there. It does give it more flavor. And then again, wait patiently. Remember that nothing goes to waste when you're homesteading. That's a very, very important thing. And this is a good way to see that nothing goes to waste, because when these bones come out of here, we're not done with them. We're using them for something else, which is even more fun once you guys learn that. So if you have any questions, post them below. This is something that I found that's really fun. It is time. It's not really time consuming, but it takes some time to make it, but it's not time consuming because you kind of just put it in there and check on it and leave it. So let me know any questions that you have, and we'll see you tomorrow for an update. Good morning, day 3. We're checking our chicken broth. Let's see what's happening here. Here's our chicken broth. What we want to check is to see if these bones, see one of the bones, like these should start crumbling. So if I'm able to smush the bones, this is ready, and it's not. So I think we need another day in here, which I thought was going to be the case because I added that one late. And yesterday when I was doing the video, also these are fresh chickens. It seems like these bones are stronger than, which is good to know that the bones from farm raised chickens are actually stronger than the bones you buy from the chickens in the store. So there's your little bit of education there, because these are from the farm. Max and I butchered these chickens. But one other thing is, yesterday I think I said something wrong. I think bone broth actually dehydrates you. No, it hydrates you. So is very good for you. I am going to add a little bit more water to this just because I'm giving it another day. And then tomorrow, we are for sure cooking this stuff regardless. It has definitely been in there long enough tomorrow. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. Enjoying the fact that I am showing you this every day. So, day 3. Just make sure everything stays covered. I do stir it up once a day. And just look at all them nutrients. Just look at that. See, there's so much nutrients in bone broth. And when you make it at home, not at the store, because you don't have all these like added vegetables and stuff. But you also get so many nutrients from the bone itself. Just think of what bone is made of. And bone marrow, right? There's like, technically I think it's blood. That's inside the bone. So we do get a lot of nutrition out of this, and I'm so excited that you guys get to see the process of me making this, because I could never fully teach you on a homesteading thing, but doing a video every day, this makes it easier, and you guys could actually see for yourselves what goes into it and how exciting this is and how it looks. And so we're gonna give it one more day. And then tomorrow is the day. And actually, we're not going to cook it. Well, so tomorrow we can either cook it, and which I might. I don't mind the fat. If you want the fat to come off, you actually have to put it in the fridge overnight after you drain it. But we'll go through that process tomorrow, the draining. And if you don't want the fat, you put it in the fridge overnight, and then you skim the top of it. I actually don't mind the fat, and I might just cook it with the fat on, but we'll see. I'm still thinking about it yet, but we'll see what I decide tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It's Friday. Let's check our soup. Look, there's some new stuff in there. We had corn on the cob. So I threw some in last night. The husk. The husk are actually really good because there's so much nutrients in this too. There's so much. Like, you can make a tea out of that. That's the annoying little pieces that get stuck in your teeth. But it's actually very, very healthy for you. Has lots of nutrition. So even the husk has nutrition. So we had that. I threw it in. Let's find some bones here. See what's going on with these bones today. They're still a little hard, but you know what? I think we're going for this because this has been in here long enough. We're gonna eat some soup today. So what I'm gonna do is here's a big bone. Let's see this. See, this looks like it's really good. Like it cooked up real nice. I don't know why it's still so hard though. Usually, this shows you the difference between the store-bought chicken and a homegrown chicken, because when I did this with store-bought, it took 2 days pretty much, and those bones were like crushing into small little pieces. So investigating minds would like to know why bones. This is the other chicken. Why bones from chickens on the farm are stronger than the bones but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna shut this off for an hour or two, let it cool down just a little bit so I don't burn my fingers, and then I will show you how to drain this. And I'm also going to show you what to do with the bones. So we have a busy day today. I am going to shut this off, let it cool down, and I will see you in an hour. Alright, we're all cooled off. Well, enough that I could do this. So I'm going to show you how to do this. First, I do recommend wearing an old shirt. Because remember, this is, there's like fat and grease in here. So it will stain your clothes. And well, you can get it out with Dawn dish soap. But I just wear an old shirt. So here we go. Here is our food. This is the fun part. And it can be time consuming. And you do need a spoon that does not have a hole in it. What you're going to do is you're going to scoop some of this out and strain it. And what I do is I push down on it some and get everything out. And then I put this in a separate bowl. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what I do with the bones. But so just get it up, let it drip out. You can let it drip and you can push it some. Some people use cheesecloth. I like this strainer. It's just a preference. I don't mind pushing it out some. This just works best for me. If you want the cheesecloth, use the cheesecloth. Your preference. You can also like dump a big portion in here and do one at a time. I'm just trying to do a little bit just to show you guys how to get the juice out. It's easier to show you with a little bit. And then, oops, that usually doesn't happen. I keep this for composting, but bury it if you don't have a regular composter because the animals will get to it. Now for the bones, I'm just going to actually show you instead of starting a whole nother video. And then, so what I do with the bones is, and it doesn't matter what bowl you use, but this is actually bone meal, and it's good for the animals. And you can, if you can crush this, crush it. This, as I said, is so tough. I can't really crush it, but usually I could crush this with my hands, and then that'll give you bone meal for the garden or the animals. So since I can't crush this, I'm just keep the bones separate and put them in the garden. So there's your homesteading. Alright, I got it all drained. Look at all that. Liquid gold. That's my chicken I got from the 2 chickens, so it's going to go inside. This here's my composting. That's all the left vegetables. I do take sometimes, like you can see, I squeeze that out, especially at the end. I just put it in my hand and I squeeze it like a baseball. Gets a lot of the stuff out. This here, this is the strainer. Some of that's actually bone meal. That's actually really good for you. That's the good part of the broth. Here's my bones. I still can't, I'm telling you last time, every bone. This here, I kept this little scrap pile out to show you guys. So here's some meat, which you can actually put the meat in there if you want. It does get a little burnt. There wasn't a lot in there because I got a lot out, but this here is the inside of the bone, and that's actually your bone meal, and that's what you want in your broth. This is why we cook this down. So a lot of the bones were at least like cracked a little bit and open, which is good because this is the nutrients and that's where the rat is inside. So we want to actually get them out. But these bones still, like, look, I can't crush them. I have a whole container in the freezer of bone meal from last time that I literally just crushed this like this and took it. But I may scrape a little bit of this out, and then I'm going to make the chicken noodle soup the way that, you know, we all have grandma's recipe. So, whenever you want to make your chicken noodle soup after this, you can also take some of just the broth and freeze it. But I think we're going to have some special deliveries. There's going to be a lot of people eating off of this. There's a few people that we send from the church sometimes, and Max and me is definitely getting some because this is their chickens they raise. So we'll see how many people we feed with this. And I'm gonna cook up the chicken noodle soup and make it just the way that I like it. And you can make yours the way you like it. I just showed you the good stuff, the how to make it even better with the homemade liquid gold they call it, and the homemade broth. This white stuff here is actually fat because it's cooling. You can put this in the fridge overnight and then just scrape all this off. This broth should not have that much fat, so I'm not going to do that. A little bit of fat is actually good for you, and it's okay, and we're going to eat it now. If I was canning it, I probably would put it in the fridge, and it does get jello-y. That's actually good. You want it to look like jello. That's all the good stuff from the chicken. That's the collagen in that, but this is the fat, and since I'm cooking it now and we're going to eat it, I'm just going to leave it. I like a little bit of fat. It gives you some nutrition, but also I know there's not a lot because we skinned these and we didn't pluck them. So we're going to leave them as they are, but that's your choice when you make it. A lot of people do put it in the fridge. Some don't. Some actually can it just with the fat. So it's up to you. Some don't believe in canning. They believe in freezing. So you're on your own from here on out, but you at least see what this looks like, and you see how fun it was. I'm actually going to go get another bigger pot and then make this, but look, I do have a little bit of vegetables in there. That's okay. That's what I say. Like, if I was canning this, you can sometimes strain it over again. Some people do strain it twice. There's not a lot of stuff in here, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's actually good stuff for you. So we're going to eat this up tonight, and I will get this video together posted so you guys can make some yourself, and I will see you later. Enjoy your soup. Soup's on. Wanted to update 1 minute. Look at that. More scraps. That's for the soup next time. Go. Nice and boiling. There's no noodles in there, but we got a big pot of soup. I'm so excited. Can't wait to taste it because it was so good last time. Oh, look, I got some broth on my glasses. So I'm going to go out and bury this, and then we're gonna have some chicken noodle soup here in a little bit when it's done. The chicken's in there. We did eat from that chicken some, and then I put it in the freezer because it took a few days for that to cook, and I just took it out of the freezer. So now the scraps are going in the garden, and the chicken soup cooking. Look at that. That's out of 2 chickens and all that scrap. So that's exciting. The bones, usually, I didn't say this earlier, but you could, I broke these down, you can actually, they're really good for the dog also. I actually fed them to Toby when I broke them down. Since these ones can't be broke down, I can't feed them to him. I know some people do it. We don't here. Toby's really sensitive to it, but the last time when I just crushed them and they broke down, I did put a little bit in his food. That's actually in dog food. So if you make your own dog food, it does suggest using bone meal. That's where you're going to get your bone meal, is right there. So there's many uses for this, but since I can't break it down and I have a container from last time that's probably that size, I will just simply, I'm going to just put this in the garden, and it can join the compost, and garden will hopefully be producing even more next year. It is very, very, very important to compost. Think about it. God made things everywhere the way they are, and they didn't need fertilizer way back. Like, my grandma was in World War II when they lived the recession. They didn't buy fertilizer. No, they simply use, I'm trying to get that light out of the background. So they simply just compost. They use scraps and they use bones. And the other thing is you want to put some, I think I'm going to put some cardboard in there. I have a eggshell carton left over. So when you compost, you don't just want like, you want a variety. And having some cardboard in there is good, but there was a ton of cardboard in our garden that probably broke down because I used it to keep the weeds down. So we're good there. I'm going to go shovel some while that soup cooks, and then I'll make the noodles separate. But everyone else is probably going to get their soup tomorrow. We'll have ours tonight. But for now, I'm just going to go and throw this stuff in the garden. Pastor Rick was excited that there was going to be some scraps out of the freezer, but little did he know they're going back in there. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. I only know what I know because I know what I know through either research or the couple times I've made this. I would not say I'm a professional, but I did learn how to do it, and it is exciting and it's fun, and it seems like it's very time consuming, but it's not. Look at all that soup I got, number one. So I could freeze that or I could can it. If you don't add the noodles, you can add rice and freeze it. You can give it away because, you sow, it always comes back to you. So whatever you give, it comes back pressed on, shaken, and overflowing. We always need to find a way every day to bless someone, right? Well, there's a way to bless somebody, is making a big pot of soup and taking some to somebody else. So take some to someone else, freeze some, and feed your family for a couple of nights. So it seems like a lot of work, but it's really not, because look how much food you're getting out of it. And we ate some of the chicken before we even made the soup. So the day we made the chicken, we ate some. And then I got all this out of it. So we got this, the first night we had chicken, we ate out of it. Then I put it in the freezer. Then we cooked it all down, used our scraps, which is really exciting. And then I cooked it for a few days, put the chicken in the freezer just to be safe because, it only lasts a couple of days. Now I'm re-cooking everything in the pot after I smushed everything out. We're going to re-cook it in that big pot. We have all that broth, which is exciting. We're going to eat some. I'm going to bless people with some, and then we're going to freeze some. There's so much. And then we get composting out of it and possibly bone meal for the dog, depending. And when you do bone meal, look into it, because I'm not going to go into detail. It goes by weight and stuff and how much other stuff you're adding into the dog food. But check into using dog food for the bone meal. And then before you use it, and then use it. So we even got some doggy food. It's exciting. So I hope you enjoy and you see how you can stretch things. Oh, and the liver and the heart and that, I actually saved so I could cook it for Toby later also. I didn't give it to him yet, but we did 5 chickens. So I have all the hearts and the livers and the kidneys and that, and I will feed them. I will cook them and feed them to Toby. Some people do it raw. I usually cook it for him. So there you go. There's more of the chicken that I'm using that people would just put to waste. So we got a lot of stuff out of a couple chickens, and I hope you're as excited as I am. I know that. Where's that fan? You probably don't want to look up my nose. I'm sorry. So there you have it. And we'll see you the next homesteading class. We got something very, very exciting going on the next homesteading, but I'm not going to let the news out yet. So get excited. February 22nd is when we're homesteading. Come join us, and I can't wait till you see what we have for you. Hello, everyone. So just when we think we're done, there's something else we're going to reuse. This is the noodle water. So when you boil noodle water, it is really, really, really good for the nutrients are amazing for the garden. And it saves water in the summertime because, you don't have to water. You have water that... Okay, everybody. So, we actually just... I'm downstairs now. But, So what did we learn today? Just finished our video. We got so much out of that broth. I'm so excited. So we ate chicken. We got the chicken noodle soup. We got to feed people. We fed about 15 people. Could have probably done 20 with that whole pot. So exciting. We used the bone meal, which could be used for the dog or the garden. Make sure you investigate. Do your homework. Don't take my word for it. Just do your homework, please. I'm not responsible. Some people feed their dogs chicken bones. I don't, because I know the disciplinaring, but that's on you. We used the scraps from our scraps and cooked in the pot, and then we used them for the garden. There's not a lot in there of nutrients left for the garden, but there's enough, and there's some, so we're gonna use it. Or we used it. I buried it, and thankfully it was like a nice day, and I didn't have to like really dig too hard, and it wasn't frozen, which was really exciting. God worked that out. So now that's composting down for in the summertime. The garden will be nice and fertilized. Our dirt and stuff, and we'll go into in homesteading one day about our dirt and composting and all that stuff, but we shouldn't have to pay for that stuff, and normally people have been paying for it, and we don't have to. Like, just make your own compost. So everything's composted, and then we even use the noodle water, which is exciting. You can do that with your like carrots. When I blanched them, I used the water in the garden, or you can freeze it and then put it in your soup when you do the soup next time, like we did the vegetables instead of water. Then, or you can use it to water the garden. There's so many uses, there's so many things. I'm just trying to teach you how to stretch every little bit. You are saving money. You're saving it for yourself and for the kingdom, because we're going to go into a little bit of investing in the kingdom, and when you have extra money and stuff like that later on when you guys come to the budgeting class. So there's a lot going on here at Shepherd's Light Ministry. There's a lot of teaching. I am really enjoying this homesteading. I'm enjoying learning how to use everything that God gave us to be a good steward on our planet, and to be a good steward with what God gave us, not just money wise, but food wise, and even our scraps. So I hope you're as excited. I hope you got as much out of this as I did. I hope this is helping you become a better steward, a better homesteader, giving you some fresh ideas of some things to use on. And I'm sure there's even more ideas that I didn't even mention, but you can put them in the comments. So have fun with this project when you do it on your own. I will see you later. Remember, again, February 22nd, 2025. 303 Pearson Street, Shepherd's Light Ministry. We are having our homesteading class. It is open to the public. Anyone can join us. So make sure you come up. We'll see you then. If you give me a heads up, I'd love to know you're coming. We have an exciting project coming on our next one. I can't wait to see you in February. Make sure you show up, and I will see you there.